Right, and we are live. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday, happy Earth Day, happy new moon in Taurus. We have so many amazing and wonderful things going on today. And I am so excited because we have my wonderful friend Kseniya here with us today. And she is just a dream facilitator of a human being, and just such an incredible and powerful woman. And so, Kseniya, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for joining. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks for having me, Sharon. It's so good to see your face.
Yes, I know. Oh my goodness.
My name, my name is Kseniya. For those listening that don't know me, I have a space called Abundant Space over in Scottsdale, on Scottsdale and Shea. And normally we have all kinds of amazing workshops and meetings and gatherings and sound healings and so many good things. And I also facilitate breath work there as well as shamanic work. And obviously, right now, we are not meeting in person still. So it makes me so happy to be able to connect online and share my work and just with our community and with the people out here in the interweb world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you on that. Yeah, I'm so happy to see your face and to be able to connect in this way, online. We need it. We still need to be able to gather socially without being physically connected. So thank you for being here and joining, of course. So tell me a little bit more about Abundant Space and kind of the experiences that are facilitated there, because it's a really unique space. It's not just a regular event space. Like, it has some special magic in it. So tell us more about Abundant Space.
Absolutely. So, man, how do I even describe her? Like you said, she's so magical. So, when I moved to Arizona about 2.5 years ago, I was really looking for a space to do several things. A, bring forth my work. So, the work that I've been doing, the shamanic work and the breath work and the ancestral healing. I was really looking for a container for that. And I was also looking for a container to do workshops because I'd already been facilitating larger groups. So I wanted somewhere where I could kind of bring both of these things together. And so from there, she really took on her own life. So once I found the exact perfect space, and I started putting everything together, it's really a relationship that we have together. So she tells me what she wants and the kinds of things that she's interested in and brings opportunities towards me just as much as I do towards her. I refer to her as a her because I really do consider her own living entity and being. So so as I started opening the space, I had so many amazing friends reach out to me and they were like, oh, I make, these candles, or I make these bundles or these soaps, and can I sell them in your space? And I said, of course, absolutely, I would love that. So all of a sudden we got a lot, really, I would say 95% women, small business owners, makers, creators, that have these beautiful wares. And so they started coming into the space. So now, we also sell all kinds of handmade goods, from natural beauty products all the way to drums to vintage clothing. It's really like, I would say it's like going to your most hippie, esoteric friend's house and just like getting to play in their stuff.
I
We
agree.
have, right? Sharon knows. Every time she comes, she's like, "Oh, what's new? What do you have?"
Show me all your
We
new
have
vintage
like,
clothes. Want them
yes,
all.
we have so many vintage clothes and esoteric books, and just always there's new stuff coming in, and people are getting stuff. So it's always ever evolving. And so that's kind of one aspect of it, is we do have this really cool shop with so many great products made by local women, by local makers, creators. So it makes me really happy to be able to support our creative community in that way. And then apart from that, we also then have the events, like you were saying, and it's really unique because I feel like the space sends out her own vibration, and then the people that resonate with that frequency, the people that resonate with that, all of a sudden they find out about it and they have great events that they want to bring forth. Or, I'll see someone, I just know that their vibe resonates with the space. Like right away when I met you, Sharon, I knew, I was like, oh yeah, Sharon's got to bring something forth at the space, because her vibe is so aligned, right? That vibration was such a match that I knew people would be interested. And I knew it's almost like the space told me, like, bring Sharon in. I want her in here. I want her playing in here and hanging out with us.
And
So,
it was, that was amazing, by the way. Like, not even just when we first met, but even when you sent me the email inviting me to the space to come and check it out. Like, we didn't even know each other. We never met before. And when I got that email, I was sitting on top of a mountain with my friend Carrie, and we were talking about, that's when I got the download for the Love of Aphrodite event that we did together, was the day that you sent me the email inviting me to come to the space. Like, so magical, so aligned. I think that is just so incredible. And then, yeah, when we met, that was just so perfect. And that day, like, you introduced me to so many other, because I think I met Steph that day too.
Right. Yeah, it's so magical. It's really, and so that's another aspect of it. It's really like a community, right? So it's not just these random events and people coming through. It's really, we're all supporting another. Like, we'll meet someone at one event and all of a sudden we're like, oh, what, this is what you do, come do an event. And then we're all of a sudden at their event, or someone that's been coming and has been developing their own skills and intuition and tapping into their own inner knowing. All of a sudden they'll reach out and they're like, what, now I want to bring my event forth. I've been to, so many great events, and now I have this idea for wanting to bring something forth. So then it gives them a platform to really step into their own inner knowing and their own inner power. And it's really a community. We all support each other, and I love seeing it too, because the more people come to different events, then the more that community just keeps connecting and keeps growing. And one person I'll know from one area, and all of a sudden another person I'll know from another area, and then they meet each other, and next thing you know, it keeps like it's like a rubber band ball, I guess, of connections, right? It just keeps growing and growing and growing, and then we're able to support each other in different ways too, right? Like, we might have someone that's a really sound healer and someone else that's really meditation, and all of a sudden they link up at one event, and next thing you know, they're collabing on an event that's like a sound healing meditation. Or that's just one example, but it's just so interesting. So it really is a unique space, and not really just an event space, but so much more. She's just magical. I love her so much. So
And we do too. I mean, the community has just been such a beautiful, and like, it's been blossoming. And like you said, one person shows up, they have something to offer, they collaborate with another. And honestly, like, since you've come into the community, because like, you moved here, like, it's not like you were always here. Like, you showed up, you opened this space, it created just a ripple effect of bringing women together in this beautiful way, and men, and just really giving us a space to do our work and to be in community with one another. And I truly believe, like, you are such a gift to Scottsdale, to Tempe, to Phoenix, to everyone who's a part of what we do here. So thank you for moving here. I love you so much.
I love you too. I'm so happy that you mentioned men too, because it's funny, when I first wanted to open the space, my inner self wanted to be like, oh, it's just a women's space, because the last few years I've really been connecting so much with women, and that's where a lot of my work lays. So I love that energy. But then I got this download. I was sitting in meditation, I got this download, and it was like, well, how can you expect the men, the divine masculine, to show up if you don't make space for them? And so so I feel like there's already quite a bit of spaces and communities and events for women. And so I got a little bit reprimanded by Spirit, where Spirit was like, well, if you don't make space, how are they supposed to step up, and how are they supposed to show up? So I was like, okay, I hear you. And I'm so glad I did, because at just about each event we have a handful full of guys, and they always bring such a beautiful grounding energy. And seeing their evolution has been incredible. So I am so happy that I decided, that I got reprimanded to really to open up the space
Spirit came in
for
and laid down the
everyone.
law.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
And I
It'd be
honestly,
like that.
I feel you on that so much. And, men are, we need them. We need them. It's not, women are better than men or men. Like we're equals and we do have to create that space. So that's much appreciated. I know in our community that they have a space to come to because there are a lot of women's groups, which we need. Like my work is women. I have tried to open up space for men to come in, and the message I've received from Spirit is not yet, not yet. Like that will be open, and I have men reach out to me all the time, like, can I come to your events? Can I do this? And the message I keep receiving is that there is a divine masculine partnership that is coming and that I will be in as far as work and facilitation. And when that partner arrives, that is when the leadership academy will open in that way. But I think that's just the evolution of it all, and I'm so grateful that your space is open to men because I love being in a community with them. Some of the best events I've been to at the space, with you, I've met some amazing men, and facilitators there. So thank you for doing that important work, and thank you, Spirit, for laying down the hammer and telling her.
And that it's truly true. It does bring that balance to it as well, because I know for me, like in the breathwork events I facilitate, I know that I really appreciate it when men show up because they bring that yang energy, that really active, and the breath is an active thing. It's a powerful thing. So I really love when there's a good balance of the men and the women because it really brings that activation and that power too. So that strength really. So when in balance, I think it's a beautiful thing. And the other thing to note is that too is, I want to include however anyone identifies. I feel like by opening up the container, it's just a beautiful way for us all to connect and us all to feel included as well.
Mhm.
So really, it's a space for everyone. My website is abundant space for all, and that is how I want it to be. I want it to be accessible and open and safe for everyone that wants to attend.
Yes, and you do that beautifully, and that's definitely how it feels. So you're doing it. It's happening. It has manifested. So tell us a little bit now about you and your personal work and the facilitation that you do.
Sure. So currently I'm doing a few different things. So I would say the two big containers that I work under is the breathwork container. And the breathwork has been 100% extremely transformational in my own life. I remember the first breathwork. And by breathwork, I don't mean so much like a yogic breath. I'll do a little sample later so people can tune into it. But we have like the alternate nostril breathing or the box breathing. So we have these tools that a lot of people are familiar with in yoga. And a lot of times when I say I do breath work, I think that's what people, or even like the ladder breath, right? Breath of fire. So a lot of times when I say I do breath work, I think that's what people resonate with and the lens that they see it with. But the breath work that I do, it's a little bit different. It's similar to holotropic breath, rebirthing, the Wim Hof method, transformational breath, breath of love, and it's really a circular breathing. And there's a lot of different names for it. I studied under the David Elliott umbrella, which is called the pranayama two-part breath with a woman named Danielle. But really, I think in the end, the circular breathing, what it's doing is oxygenating our body at such a high rate that we're able to start releasing, that we're able to start moving some of that stagnant energy. And I know for me, it was so profound. The first breathwork event that I went to, I didn't really know what to expect. A friend had just invited me, and it was probably, gosh, 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. And I mean, once I started with the breath, my entire body was shaking and I was sobbing, and just the breath was moving me. And like, I had no idea what I was in for, and I had no idea what to expect. And I would say the first maybe 10 times, and after that experience, I was like, this is so powerful. And it wasn't as popular back then. So any event I could find, I would just go to it. And even the facilitators, they weren't sharing a ton of information about it. They weren't sharing about some of the physical things that can happen and the emotional releases. And even online, I think 6 years ago, there wasn't that much information about it. So I just really like dove in through my own personal experience and seeing how my body was affected by it, seeing how I was able to release from it, seeing how I was able to connect through it. Because what happens is at first we have so much dense energy to release. So at first, I would say it's a lot of physical and tears and screams and really just moving through those denser energies that are stored in our system. And then after your vessel is clear enough, it's really like a direct connection to the divine, and you're able to just like drop in, tune in, receive downloads. I've even experienced like nirvana. You know, people speak about nirvana, that ultimate bliss, and through breath work, I've been able to achieve those states, which is just mind blowing to think about. So it had such a pronounced effect on my own life that I really, really wanted to share it with other people. So I got, I did the training and I just dove in sharing it with people. So I feel so passionate about it. You've experienced, I think, breathwork with me a few times, right, Sharon?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just incredible.
Yeah, it really, thank you for sharing all that. And there's a couple of things that you said that I would love to have you elaborate on because yes, I have
Yeah.
experienced breath work, and as a facilitator and as someone who studies holistic health through different modalities, I understand that we hold our traumas and our experiences and our emotions in our bodies. And so you talked about releasing and you talked about how we can become a clear channel for the divine. So what are some of the things that you have seen people release in your experience as a facilitator?
Thank you for
Uh-oh. Can you hear me? I can't hear you anymore. You can't hear me and I can't. Okay, so we're having technical difficulties. Not really
there
sure.
it goes.
Okay. Our sound just cut out. Very weird. Um, what was the last thing you heard me say?
That we can store, the trauma and the pain and the sadness in our physical bodies. So your
Okay,
point.
so the question I asked was, what have you seen people release through working with the breath and doing breath work?
I mean, anything from, like I said, trauma from this lifetime, pain from events that have happened in this lifetime, all the way stemming back to generational trauma, right? These generational ancestral patterns that we keep reliving that are so often alive in our own lineages. So, this is something that can be intentionally released with the breath, as well as even past life trauma, past life pains. Really, it's anything from a fit, because like you said, it's all connected, right? So sometimes we'll have something happen with us and then we'll store that experience, we'll store that emotion and that pain somewhere lodged in our body. So a lot of times when you're breathing, a specific area will just be flared up or on fire or so activated. And I always say send the breath directly there, like loosen that up to release it. And a lot of times, like, it can be from this life, from something that happened last week or last year, or when we were really young, things we might not even remember. And I think at first, when I started releasing via the breath, I was really connected to all the stories, right? Like, what am I releasing? What specifically is this? What experience is this connected to? And just, I think, just when we first get into energy work, we're really interested in the story. We really want to know how the pieces tie together. We really want to know, what specifically is this? And then I think the more that we do the work, like for me now, I feel something come up and I don't even care what it is or what the story is or whatever. I just know it's coming up for release. So I'll just move it up and out of my system. So, but yeah, anything from this life all the way to ancestral, generational, past lives, whatever your beliefs may be. It's very powerful. Really, I believe you can release anything with the breath. So And even other people's energies, right? Like a lot of times we'll take on an energy that's not our own, that doesn't match our vibration or doesn't match our frequency, and people carry that around forever. Something you were told when you were young, something that an energy that you came in contact with that meshed with yours. And so these are also the things that can be removed, that can be exited, out via the breath.
Yeah, so you just brought up so much, so much. The ancestral, the past lives, all these things, and breath, like breath work. So in the yogic term, pranayama literally means life force. And so that just came to me when you were sharing all that, because breath is this life force that when we intentionally take into our body and move, and with what you teach and what you facilitate of that cyclical breath and the different ways in which we can use the breath, it's clear, it's using our life force to literally heal and clear out and move, so that we can step into something new, so that there's new space created within the body to express without. And oh, what did you say? Releasing of the stories. I love that, because in my work as a coach, what I do is I help people process through their stories, and I help them, because there are a lot of people, like I'm like you. When something comes up, I'm like, it doesn't really matter anymore. It's time to just move through it and make it happen, and just let it release and heal. But for a lot of people, especially those who are new to the spiritual work, who are new to doing their self development and self empowerment work, the stories are still so deeply rooted and so deeply ingrained that there is a lot that we still need to give space for the expression of those stories. But I love how you brought that up, because I do think that's as we mature on our path and through our experiences, it becomes less about the story and more just about, all right, it's here, let's move through it, let's release it, and let's continue on in our life. And I definitely believe that your work is an access point to that, for sure.
I
um,
love that.
so is there anything else that you want to share? Because I know we're gonna, in a minute, I'll have you enter into, you can guide a meditation, lead
Yeah.
us through some breath work. You have about 30 minutes, so there's plenty of time. Um, and then is there anything else you wanna speak out before we get started?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. That was just one. The breath is just one aspect of what I do, and then the other, I would say, larger umbrella is the shamanic work that I do. And the shamanic work resonates with me so deeply. At my first ceremony, and this is kind of the thread. I don't really know how I find myself here, but my soul finds the experiences that I need. Right. So I don't know how I showed up at that first breath work event, 6 years ago, but I knew I needed to be there. And same with my first shamanic ceremony. I have no idea what called to me or how I found it, whatever. I just knew I had to be there. And my soul recognized it so much as truth. And, I felt it in my body, and I was just tears moving down my face and my whole body shaking from it. And so I knew that this work was so powerful for me. And after that, I just dove in heavily. I started training with a woman in San Diego named Mara Clearspring, who's incredible. And for the first few years, I would say really the shamanic work was just also about healing myself and all the things that I put myself through, and all the past life wounds, and all the just the human experience. And it was so profound for me. And I was able to work through so much with the shamanic, using the shamanic journeying, that I wanted to share it with other people. And so and it's so funny because I remember my first journey that I did shamanically for someone other than myself. And I remember I called my teacher, Mara, and I told her, I was like, that was so much easier. Like, if I would have known it's so much easier working with other people, I would have done it sooner. And she goes, well, yeah, it's not all your own shit and all your own pain that you have to work through. You're just, holding the space and journeying for someone else's experience. And that made so much sense for me. So after I found out that, oh, it's because when I was doing my own work, it's pretty brutal sometimes, and it can be deep, and it can be really painful and rough, and bring up so many incredible things. Oh, I just saw a giant lizard. It's really interesting.
Lizard
Oh my gosh,
medicine.
he's Yeah, I almost want to bring you over so you can see how big he is. I think I'm going to. Hold on.
Yes.
Okay, wait, no. Okay, I'm gonna try it. Hold on. Oh no, he's darting fast.
He's like, I'm out of here.
I don't know if you can see him. Oh yeah, no, he just went into the. Yeah, wow, that was a big one. That was one of the biggest ones that I've seen, which is interesting. In the shamanic realm, the animals play a big part of the medicine. Mm-hmm. So whenever I see a sign or I always take it to heart and always notice it. So that's really interesting. But anyway, so the work was so profound on me, and shamanic work really encompasses so much. It's just accessing the other realms, accessing things that are always going on, just not in our ordinary reality. So this can involve like cord cutting, past life work. It can involve generational work. It can involve, energetic alignment. It can involve energetic, arranging things, getting energy out. It's just so all encompassing that it involves a lot of different aspects of it, like spirit animals, spirit guides. Sometimes I'll work with a client and the journey will just be like purely angelic realm, right? Angelic energies. And then other times I'll work with a client and it's like all earth energy and just, this really primordial, primal energy. So it's, I would say, based on, and that's kind of the fun thing for me is based on each person that I work with, it brings forth like something new each time. And so, because I have my guides I work with and I have kind of my exercises that I do. But then when you bring someone else and their, their soul and their soul's guides into it, it's so interesting because you never really know what you're going to see. So I'm always, I feel like the evolution of my soul is always ever expanding with each new person that I work with, because they're bringing completely different energy and completely different guides and messages into then my consciousness. So it's just so interesting. And the way that I do my shamanic sessions is really, I'm just a clear channel, and then whatever comes through for them is just moving through me. So I don't, a lot of times I won't even remember it, or I don't really know what I'm saying, or as later, we kind of can unpack it a bit together and process and integrate. But a lot of times it's just their guides have been so eager to communicate with them, and then I'm just opening up that space and opening up that container for that to occur. So yeah, the shamanic work is like, I just feel like I'm always learning. I'm always it's always catching me by surprise. So it's so fun. I really, really enjoy it. And I think the breath work and the shamanic work go really well hand in hand, because once, you open up with the breath and you're able to, release some of that denseness, some of that heaviness, and then you're just in such a place to connect more. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know if I've done shamanic work with you yet, but I'm very excited to. It sounds like an extremely powerful experience to have and extremely healing.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's and like I said, it's always so different for everyone. Sometimes like a song will come through. Other times I'll be chanting. Other times I'm just like channeling information from one of the guides. Other times it's like an energetic alignment. So I'm actually going into their energetic field and adjusting things. So it's such a mixed bag, and you just never know. It's so fun to see what happens.
I love that. And now, is this something that you can offer virtually? Because obviously, we're staying home right now. So is this something that you offer online?
Yeah, absolutely. So both the breath work and the shamanic work I've been offering online. I took all my whole schedule of clients and I've just moved everything to Zoom. And the interesting thing is now I don't know if it's because of just the energy and the ascension that's happening in the world, or because it's people are home, so they feel comfortable and safe and kind of like already in their element. But I would say the virtual sessions have been even wilder and like even crazier than my in-persons lately. So it's so interesting, and I think part of it is that people are comfortable, they're in their home, so they feel like similar to like a home birth, right? Your body feels safe. You feel like you're already here, right? You're not like in some new environment. There's not other people in your energetic field. So but the sessions have been so powerful and so wild online that I'm definitely going to keep that open as a container even after we reopen in person, just because it's been so profound. And also it's been cool because people from other states and, you know, even other countries can join in and can book these sessions now. So it's just expanding, I think, everything. But yeah, absolutely. It's something that I offer virtually via Zoom. So I've been loving it.
That's awesome. That's so cool. We're very blessed, like during all of this, to have the ability to continue to connect virtually. It's a blessing for sure.
Totally.
Awesome. Okay, well, how do you feel about diving into that meditation and some breath work?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love it. And I think I'm actually going to go grab my drum too. I wasn't initially going to use it,
Ooh,
but now speaking about, you know, the shamanic elements and everything, I think, and it is Earth Day too. So really it is that
it is.
heartbeat. So
It is,
I'm
and
going to
it's
go
new
grab
moon
my
in Taurus.
drum.
So we
Yeah.
have so much. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna get the video set up. I will take myself off the screen so that it is you are taking center stage. But
Awesome.
yeah, go ahead. You can go get
Awesome. I'll
your
go grab
drum.
my drum. I'll be right back, love.
Beautiful. And so, for those of you who are still here, it is Earth Day. It is, um, we do have a new moon in Taurus today, which is extremely amazing. So, for those of you who are not as familiar necessarily with the new moon, it basically means that the sun and the moon are in alignment today, and that means we don't see the moon. And so, it's a dark moon, and we basically have the opportunity today to set intentions for how we want this next cycle to go. And so, with the new moon being in Taurus, it's a very sensual sign. It's a very grounded, it's the most grounded of all the earth signs. And it's very much about leaning into our passions, and within our passions, we'll find our purpose. And within our purpose, we'll find that prosperity. And prosperity is more than just, money. Prosperity, we can be prosperous in love, we can be prosperous in wealth, we can be prosperous in friends and community, and all of these different things. And so really the energy that's surrounding this new moon is about, really leaning into it, to what brings joy into our body as we're experiencing it. So, writing, painting, reading, working. I know people who absolutely love their job and love what they do. It's not necessarily what someone might consider creative, but it's very creative for them. And so it's not so much about what you're doing as much as it's about how it feels while you're doing it, and what you enjoy doing. So if you're interested in learning more about the new moon, I'll post a link. I am hosting a new moon ritual tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific. And I'll be talking more about the energy of the moon. We'll be doing a ritual, some work. And yeah, but now that we have Miss Kseniya back, what we'll do is I'm going to mute. I'm going to turn off my camera. And Kseniya, the floor is yours. So we have about 20 minutes. Cool?
Okay,
But we
perfect.
can go over also. I'm really not that stressed about it. So
Awesome. I love that you said that. In my I'll be mindful of time today, but in my in-person sessions, it's so funny. I always say, okay, the event, ends at 8:30. And then next thing I know, it's like 11 and we're all still there, just in the energy.
which is beautiful. I've been to many of those events and I love it. So love it, love it. But all right, I'm going to pass it over to you. Thank you so much. So looking forward to this.
Awesome. I'm so excited. So I will do just a small introduction to my work because, like I said, we only have 20 minutes, so I want to be mindful of time. First, I want to introduce you to my drum. This is a beautiful drum that I created. She's indigo dyed, and I made her by the river in Oregon at an incredible event called the Spirit Weavers Retreat that I've been going to. It's going to be my 8th year going this year. So, and I made it with my close friend, Tia. So we are Indigo Drum Sisters now. And I work with this drum just about every day. I love her so much. And it's really a relationship that we built as well. And so, we are going to do a little bit of the breath. And I think everyone watching is probably sitting up. So normally we would do this laying down, and you can repeat it next time. If you want to rewatch this and just skip to whatever minute this is, you can do it later laying down. Or if you're joining in and you want to lay down now, that's fine as well. But I'm just going to demonstrate sitting up, because obviously I'm not going to lay down right now. So you're going to want to go ahead and put one hand on your heart and the hand right here on your belly. And this breath is going to take place through the mouth, okay? So it's going to be 2 inhales and then an exhale. It's the pranayama 2-part breath as taught by David Elliott. And the first inhale through the mouth is going to fill up this lower belly area. And the second inhale through the mouth is going to fill up this heart space. And that's why you actually are going to have your hands there, so you can feel those areas filling up. A lot of times as a society, we breathe really shallow. So we'll just breathe to like right here, right? And I even as a breathwork facilitator, I notice myself doing it all the time. And so this breath, we send it really deep, just to get those stagnant areas, to get those stagnant energies moving a bit. And then it's going to be an exhale, so through the mouth. And I'll demonstrate again in a little bit. But before we start, I just want you to be mindful that we're not going to do too big, so it's going to be, not as drastic, but there's several things that can happen with this release. The first thing is you're going to probably feel a lot of energy all throughout your whole body, and especially your hands. And if you work with your hands, if you do any sort of healing, or if you're creative, you flow Reiki, then your hands, or massage even, your hands are probably going to feel a lot of energy and almost like they're like on fire, like boom. So, and the second thing is, like I said, the energy is going to be moving through your whole body. And people say, oh, high vibration, that's so high vibe. And really, this is what they're referring to, your body's own high vibration. So just be mindful, if you feel that filling up your system, is just your own prana, just your own chi, just your own energy. So the next thing that can happen is something we call lobster claws. And your hands can just get really tight and like, right? There's a technical term for it, but I prefer lobster claws. So if this happens to you, even during this short segment that we're going to do, I invite you to ask yourself, is there something that I can release? Is there something that I'm holding on to? Is there something I'm just grasping onto so strong that would be just easier to surrender? And the last thing I'll touch on real quick is something we call butthole mouth. I know, so eloquent. And your mouth will literally be like a little butthole. And what that speaks to energetically for me is, what truth are you not expressing? And this can be literally physically something you have to say, or it can be a way that you've been stifling yourself, whether creatively or, there's so many ways that we hold ourselves back. So if you notice your mouth clenched and really tight, you can ask yourself, what can I speak? What truth can I express? And sometimes, as you ask yourself these questions, the mouth can relax, the hands can relax. I've seen it happen. And other times, maybe you're just riding it out through the whole breath. So from there, I also wanted to just talk about the fact that it is an emotional release. Like Sharon and I were talking about earlier, this is stuff that we've been carrying for a long time. Some of us lives, some of us, some of our lineages have been carrying these things for generations and generations and generations. So be gentle with yourself, and any emotions coming up, just let them come up. Any feelings coming up, just let them come up. As a society, I think we really pride ourselves on being strong and holding it together and, just getting on to the next thing. But really, like, now's the time and now is the space. And this breath is a beautiful tool to just let down those guards. And instead of stuffing things down as they come up, just let them come up and move through you. So I would say that if this breath is something you want to practice, it's always preferred to have someone hold space for you. So if you can get with a breathwork facilitator, especially for your first, 10, 20 times, I highly recommend it. I know for me, if I would have been having these experiences, I would have just been a mess, because like I said, I was crying, I was shaking. It's a lot at first when you start releasing. So have someone hold space for you. And if you do want to do like a shorter one, like we're going to do today, I would recommend even, just having whether your partner or a family member or a friend, at least be there with you, even if they're not like a, space holder by career. Someone can still hold space for you. So I always recommend just being mindful of that, because as things start to move through, it can be a lot, and it can be really emotional, and physically it can also be a lot on the system. So just be mindful of that. Okay, so as I'm going to start everyone off with the breath by demonstrating. So if you're following along, you're going to start with the breath. And then as you get going with the breath, I'm going to start in just a little while, as as energetically as called to. I'll start drumming, and then I'll just do a beautiful, probably guided. Actually, I have no idea what I'm doing, but some sort of guided meditation, probably for Earth Day, using my drum. So it'll come to me as we go. But meanwhile, let's dive into the breath. One hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Close your eyes. Just center in here a moment. Just arriving here in your body. Excuse these birds, they're having a party. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start with the breath. So remember, the first inhale through the mouth goes deep into the belly. The second inhale through the mouth goes deep into the heart space, and then out through the mouth. So it's going to look and sound a little like this. So keep going with that pattern. Keep going with that pattern. And everyone's breath is going to be a little bit different, but I would say at first, really bring that yang energy, that powerful energy, just filling up your whole body with it. So stay with it. Stay with that breath. Stay with that breath, and I'll get into the meditation. I'm just going to wait for you to continue with that breath and get settled into that pattern here. Just holding space for it. Really good. Just filling up. Really good. Stay with that. 2 inhales and an exhale all through the mouth. Really give it some power. Give it some force. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start drumming. So just stay with that breath pattern if you're following along. Stay with that breath. Stay with that breath here. Stay with that breath. At this time, we want to honor Gaia, Pachamama, the Great Earth Mother. Today, Earth Day, what a beautiful time to honor her. Stay with that breath. Feel your heartbeat, connecting with the heartbeat of the drum. Connecting with the heartbeat of all living things. All her creation. Finned, furred, feathered, two-legged, four-legged, and many-legged. Connecting, unifying our heartbeat. With everyone present on this call, and everyone all around us, those people directly around us in our home, unifying our heartbeat, staying with the breath. Those people around us on our street, unifying our heartbeat. Those people around us in our neighborhood, with our breath, unifying the heartbeat. Our loved ones that may be far away, unifying our heartbeat. Those people in our town, in our city, unifying our heartbeat. Remembering we are all one, we are all connected, we are all together. Those people in our state, unifying our heartbeat. Those people in this country, unifying our heartbeat, staying with the breath. The people on our continent, unifying our heartbeat. All of the people, all of the animals, all of the creation on this earth, unifying our heartbeat, staying with the breath. Connected through this eternal heartbeat of the mother. You are never alone. You are never isolated. We are all connected through her heart. All her creation, all her relations, all together. Feel this connection. Feel how supported you are in this web of existence. And pour out your gratitude, pouring out our gratitude onto Mama Earth for all she does for us, for all the bounty and abundance she provides for us, for all the beauty she has created. Just pouring out our gratitude for the rivers, for the stars, for the clouds, for the plants, for the mountains and the valleys, all of her creation, pouring out our gratitude onto her for all she does, how sweetly she holds us, how patient she is with us, all the love and intention that she creates. Just feeling this love, this gratitude welling up, staying with the breath. And with each exhale, sending it out to Gaia in gratitude for all she does. Staying with the breath. Feeling how connected you are to all things through all time in this web. The same elements alive in you, the same elements up inside. No separation, just oneness with all there is, with all that was, with all that will be, staying with the breath. Tuning in to Gaia's beauty, her grace. And not shutting out her pain, her sadness. For she is a whole, whole, whole creatrix. Feeling all aspects. All aspects of you, all aspects of her, all emotions, all feelings welcome, not shutting anything away, not hiding anything. Full in our expression, whole in our expression. And we ask her now, how can we better serve you, Gaia? What can we, your children, do to assist you today and every day? You do so much for us, so much, and we are so grateful. Our love pours out over you. And how can we serve you, we ask? Staying with the breath, tune into your heart. See what messages come forth. How can you serve? What can you do? What are some ways you can lighten her load? What are some ways you can bring beauty forth? What of your creation can be inspired by her? Tuning into your heart space and seeing whatever comes. However you feel called to serve. Whatever beauty you feel called to offer. And we ask you now, Gaia, how can we connect with you deeper? How can we know you deeper? We know many of us have lost that connection. And now, such a beautiful time to slow down and reestablish that heartbeat that beats in all of us. So ask anyone tuning in, anyone in your homes, ask, how can you connect? And she will tell you, she will show you. She is always happy to connect with her children. Just ask. always happy to connect. Staying with the breath. Again, feeling that connection that we all have to each other, the animals and the trees and the people and the ground underneath our feet. How we show up for one thing is how we show up for many things. Stay with the breath. If you have anything to release, anything to transmute, let it move through you now. Acknowledging any energy, any dense energy, any emotion. Acknowledging them, being with them, feeling them, not running away, not stuffing down, just being with ourselves. Staying with the breath. And when ready, let these emotions, let these dense energies go. With your next exhale, keep breathing. Stay with the breath pattern. Let it move through you. Anything ready to release, anything ready to transmute, send it out. Send that energy out to be transmuted into something beautiful, something new. Any worries, any anxieties, any uncertainty, anything at all, whether yours or collective, with each exhale, move this through, out and through your system. Transmuting not just for yourself, but all those around you. Those in your personal space, in your home, those on your street, those in your neighborhood, those in your town, your city, those in your state, those in your country, those in your continent, those in the world. Transmuting all of this just with the breath. Never present. A vehicle for transformation, the breath is. Stay with it. Create that space. Create that space. And now call in the beauty. Call in your heart, your soul's desires. Not just for yourself, but for this planet. What do you see? What new future are we building? What new normal can we build? What can this look like? What can this feel like? What can this be like? Call forth those blessings for yourself and the people of this earth, for yourselves and the animals of this earth, for yourself and the plants, the mushrooms, and the waters and the mountains of this earth. Call forth those blessings. Call forth that abundance. Call forth that prosperity, that love. What do you see? What does the new future look like for you, for Gaia, for us? Call it forth. Feel it in your heart to be already true. We've created the space. Now we can mindfully, with the breath, each inhale in. Inhaling into the belly, into the heart. Inhale this new truth into being. You've created the space. You've transmuted the dense. Now call it in. What does this lightness feel like? possible. Anything already is. Already so. Just claim it. Claim this new paradigm for us all. Claim this new paradigm for you, your family, your loved ones, your street, your neighborhood. Claim this new paradigm for your town, your city, your state, your country, your continent. Claim it for the world. It's already so. What does it look like? What does it feel like? This lightness, this beauty, this abundance. What does it feel like in your heart? What does it feel like in your being? Stay with the breath. Keep breathing it in. Breathe it in. Not just for you, but for all the creation. Giving thanks for whatever this will look like, for whatever this will feel like, for we ourselves are creating it now. We are manifesting it now. Once again, stay with the breath. Just give thanks. With each exhale, sending your gratitude out to the world for all she does for us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are so grateful, your children. So grateful. Take a deep breath in. Hold it as long as you can. Keep holding. Feel that energy. Feel that prana you just created. Feel how activating that is. Feel how powerful you are. Let it out whenever you can't hold it anymore, in whatever way feels authentic. Just keeping your eyes closed here for a moment of integration. Letting these ships settle. Letting our creation settle. Sending gratitude out to the earth for all she just so it is. Just gently starting to come back. Gently re-arriving here. Deep breath in and out. Just letting that settle, letting that integrate, meeting yourself, being gentle with yourself for anything that may have come up, being gentle with yourself for any emotion. And sending gratitude out to Gaia for all she's created and all she continues to create. Thank you for joining me for that. That was beautiful. You can do that. I think we'll leave this up so you can do that again at any time. If you want to lay down next time or, yeah.
Yes.
Hi, Sharon.
Hi. I'm trying to get back. Here we go. Yay. Oh my goodness, Kseniya, thank you so much for that. Thank you. That was incredible. I don't really have words. I still have to process all of that and what that was like. But thank you so, so much. That was so just beautiful and amazing. And I'm, again, still processing. But this will be up, this will be live up on my YouTube channel forever. So please share if you enjoyed that. But also, Kseniya, if you want to send it out to your followers, definitely do so. It's going to be up here forever.
Awesome. Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thanks for allowing me to share that. And what a beautiful Earth Day, right? What a beautiful day for a meditation such as that came through.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That was so divine and so beautiful and perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your gifts with us. Thank you for being here. And with that, I'm going to wish everyone a happy and beautiful day. We'll be back here again tomorrow at 11 a.m. for our next segment. But thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm so filled with love and gratitude right now. I have to go like ground myself even more.
Yeah.
That was amazing. But thank you everyone on YouTube. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Kseniya. And I'll see you tomorrow at 11. Have a beautiful Earth Day. Happy new moon in Taurus. Go set some really powerful intentions for yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye, loves.